Okay, starting off a game of fast food franchise. There's not a lot here to do. There's no real setup other than what I've already done. Throwing some money, shuffling the cards, putting stuff back in the bag. I'm going to open up and I move counterclockwise as I always do in these games just to prove that I'm a little weird. With blue. And let's see what we get. 8. And I'm going to need some paper to roll on. Okay, blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's exactly where we went before. And you know what? I didn't give anybody any money. Boy, that was kind of dumb, wasn't it? Everybody's got $350,000. I'm going to just keep rolling until somebody needs to use their money so that you get to hear the dice rolling. Now, let me throw that down. Yeah, no dice towers here, huh? It's a hard game to roll on the board, unlike Monopoly, because there's going to be stuff that shows up there. So the next player is red, and that's a 7. That's 1 less than 8. Red hits Detroit. Now, red has to make a decision, and I'll come back in a moment. They're going to be buying probably a franchise there. Detroit's kind of a lame place because it has these 2 barriers. That means they can't connect through them, so he can only come out this one way. On the other hand, getting a jump on people is not a bad idea. If he can buy something that's got kind of a low-cost franchise, and that's kind of an attractive thought. Obviously, ice cream has a low-cost markets. Ice cream has a low-cost market, but it has a difference of $20,000, $16,000 between the income franchise and markets. So he might be interested in something with a kind of a higher franchise cost. I don't really see anything. Ice cream's such a lame thing to pick right off. I'm going to roll a die. I'm going to try to decide because Detroit's kind of a loser space. He's going to go with it, so I'll come back in a little bit with his decision and what he bought. Okay, so they went with Pizza Pavilion, which is one of my favorite companies, actually. One of about 3 that I really, really like on the, in terms of I can probably win the game with this. There are a few heavy companies that are good. Pizza's kind of in the middle of the route. It doesn't cost a lot, but it has a lot of potential to do damage. It can grow a lot. It's not going to knock somebody out usually unless you grow it humongous. But it's just a nice balance of positions. Normally, so my impulse was to go for one of the things that I don't like as much because I'm sitting here in this crappy location, so I'm thinking I had to go with family style or chicken or something. Well, actually, pizza seems to meet my needs better because it's not a terrible choice. It's not like ice cream for a good start for a starting company. It's a company I actually would like to have, but it's got kind of the lowest penalty for buying a new market. So if I do have to tear this up to build another company, it's not that bad a move. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to yellow, and we'll see where they end up. They get a big 9. They get a market as well, and they're definitely going to buy that. I don't know what they're going to go for yet, so I'll come back in a bit. Okay, yellow opened up with the slightly another one of the larger ones, actually, in terms of Chicken Surprise. Chicken Surprise has a big $50,000 market. Advertising's kind of high. The income's not as high as burgers. Overall, it's just a slightly smaller burgers. Less markets, less franchises, less advertising slips, less cost and payoff for each one. In a 5-player game with so little money, $350,000, burgers and even steak are kind of painfully big in terms of the upfront cost. Chicken is probably about the biggest that people should dare in this many players. When I play 2 players or 3, I'm much more willing to go for one of the big boys. My ex-wife used to love playing Chicken Surprise. And the surprise is that it's not chicken, it's actually Cthulhu in a bucket, but we'll get into that later. Alright, let's keep going. It's green's turn. We'll see where they end up. they get an advertising. And, you know, I was thinking about just mentioning this before, but blue and green aren't necessarily hosed by not grabbing something right away. Not only could they maybe get something on this next level, it's not like these guys can open up a business yet. Let me actually go into the specifics of when you can open up a new company. It's in here somewhere. Corporations and markets. To open a market, yeah, okay, to open a corporation is the issue, though. You're not entitled to open a new corporation if any other player owns fewer corporations. So, yeah, that's the actuality. Is if anyone's doing worse than you are, you can't open. If anyone has less corporations than you do, you can't open up another one. So right now, red and yellow have a corporation. They're not going to get to open up another one. So even if blue doesn't get anything, they can't open up some littler chain down here and try to eat up, you know, both balances. And at worst case comes to worst, people who don't get anything get a chance to open one up when they get there, and they get their choice, which might be a very, very powerful option. Right here we've got kind of this congestion of players already. Let's go to black and see where he goes. He gets a big 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Minneapolis, St. Paul doesn't look like a bad place. It's kind of away from everyone else. He's going to think about how much he wants to spend and where he wants to build. Here's the problem. He doesn't have a lot of markets here. He's got a way here. That's kind of interesting. But it's not the same open setup that Orange has here. So he may actually pass. I got to come back after I think. Well, I'm not one to pass up an opportunity to buy things. It's tough for me, especially with two people opening up. He's going to pick up Family Style. Now, Family Style is one of those that I feel is kind of weird. It's I very seldomly buy this on my own. It's got a cost that's up there almost with the big guys. It's around pizza, a little higher franchise costs, but it's got a payout that's better than chickens. So it doesn't have a lot of markets. Its markets are kind of cheap. Its franchises are a little higher, and the income per franchise is a little higher. Doesn't have a lot of advertising. It's not a big company. You're not going to dominate the board with this sucker. But he's not going to have a lot of markets available no matter what he does. He's got one nearby in Chicago. Everything else kind of far away. So he's not thinking that he's going to expand. Another option would have been dark and gooey chocolate. It's got a huge market cost. Cheap franchises with a good payoff per franchise. That's a nice company. I like dark and gooey, but for whatever reason, black went with Family Style. Okay, now let's go back to blue. Blue's going to go around the strategy opportunity. You'll see how that works. It's not going to be too exciting because all he's going to do is roll an 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is draw a strategy card. Now this can affect him. He can't play it this time, but next time around he could. He's going to be able to add expanding 3 franchises at normal cost. He can go into 1 gray square at twice cost. And he could use this to start a new corporation. So he's going to have a strong expansion opportunity. I'm going to take a pause and try to figure out what he wants to do, because Miami might not be a bad place to start. Nobody else is up here yet. Okay, blue went with the big money of a dark and gooey chocolate. This was, you know, it's a suboptimal choice for a first company in so many ways, kind of like Family Style is. But here's the problem. With this many people, the big boys, like I said, the Burger Brothers, the Steak and Salad, they cost so much. Burger Brothers, $50,000 for a market, okay. But the expansion cost is high, and it's not necessarily guaranteed that he's going to have a lot of markets here. He would have been able to fit in this area with Steak and Salad and was considering that. That would have been his real choice here. But that's almost as expensive market-wise as Dark and Gooey. And then the franchise cost is just so painful that he didn't think he could go through it. Same problem with Burger Brothers, but you've got that expanded size in Burger Brothers. And then finally, the advertising over here on Steak and Salad at 30,000 blows everything out of the water. Dark and Gooey's down in the little leagues here with $6,000, so he can expand the number of fake markets he has. A few hits of Dark and Gooey, he can start up another company, maybe a Burger Brothers or something, or maybe just more dessert with donuts, where he can spread out easily. On the other hand, the other things that are available, ice cream, donuts, they're low payouts. Dark and Gooey has got a big hammer that it can hit you with at $16,000, which is actually more than Burger Brothers, more than anything except Steak and Salad. So Dark and Gooey is a powerful company without a lot of expansion ability. So that's kind of attractive to him. Now I'm going to play some of the other players, try to see where they're going to end up and what this board is going to start looking like. I'm not going to be going in this detail throughout the whole game, obviously. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's going to be landing there with red. Now he gets a strategy card, buyout opportunity. This is going to allow him to add up to 5 franchises at twice the normal cost. Normal cost, well, pizza's not that expensive. Question here is, does he want an advertising slip? This could allow other people to run around the board real easily. But here's the thing, his advertising's really cheap. He's got 3 people behind him. He's going to pay $4,000 and grab that quick cash if somebody lands on him and be able to expand out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Hey, that's life. All right, we move on to yellow. Yellow is going to go with an 11. Yellow gets to the taste test. Yellow's got this chicken surprise. He's going to get his card inside a strike. You could play this to bone someone else out of some cash, or else they won't be able to collect income. He can't do that right now, though. But now we have a nationwide taste test, and every company rolls the dice to see who basically gets $5,000. I'll come back when that's done. Okay, so Pizza won that little dice off, and because they only have one franchise, they get a big $5,000. It's $5,000 per franchise. No doubling due to markets or anything like that. Also, on top of this, you don't get to expand or anything, so it's kind of a minor advantage, just a few bucks. If you have a lot of franchises, it can be kind of a nice advantage, but it doesn't give you anywhere near what you can get from most of the other actions you take. All right, let's go on to green. 5. Green gets a strategy opportunity, and they are allowed to play it. So they can replace a market slip and all attached franchises of another corporation with those of one of yours. Well, he doesn't have one. He can't start a corporation with this because it doesn't say he can. So he's kind of boned again without an action. And now we go to black again. Gets 6. Also gets a strategy opportunity that he can play. Sell out to outside investors. He can sell out one market and all attached franchise at full cost to the bank. Take only the market cost for the franchise located on the gray square, so he doesn't get to double count this one. This is kind of nice. If he has to get rid of his company, if he doesn't like how he started, he can get rid of it the next time he goes around or some other time he goes around. Right now, hey, he wants to keep his company. Okay, so that's 2 rolls. I'm going to, again, play a little bit lighter and faster and not, go over every single action. But I'm going to load this one up, let you guys see where we're getting.